I'm Vince, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank Chuck over at Outside Screwball, who recently gave me a shout out and outed my channel. It's always nice to see someone appreciate some of the things you've done. When this whole isolation thing ends, it's going to be really interesting to take a tour of his shop. He's got a lot of things that I do, and a lot of things in common. We have the same bandsaw, etc. So that should be interesting. Now, a quick overview of my channel for those of you that are new. As a career, I'm an electrician, and I'm not modest about it. I like to say that I'm an electrician like Michelangelo was a painter. At work, they asked me, what kind of jobs would you like to run? And I told them, give me your hardest, worst, most terrible jobs that no one else wants to do, and that's what I want to do. Because I like a challenge. I like doing things that nobody else wants to do. I don't think I'm incredibly smarter than anybody else, but I have found that I have a good knack at finding people who are smarter than me and that know the answers and that could help me out. And I find that a lot on YouTube with these other creators. It's really nice. I like to do that same challenge in my life as I do at work, which is learn new things, challenge myself, don't take the easy way out. If there's something that needs to be fixed, I try and fix it myself first, try and learn about stuff, and along the way, oftentimes I'll learn something and I'll maybe see something interesting, and I'll make a YouTube video of it, and I'll post it hoping that other people that might have the same interest or curiosity can learn something. My channel is not just about machining. It's not just about any one thing. I fly airplanes, I do machining, I used to hang glide, I like cooking. There's just a lot of different things. I'm a beekeeper, so it's not any one thing. So if you just want to know about just machining, there's other channels that are probably a lot better than mine for machining. But my father was a machinist. Both my grandfathers were machinists. I believe both my great-grandfathers were machinists. So along the way I picked up a few things. I've got a pretty extensive shop in my garage. Looking around, I've got, in the garage itself, I've got 2 milling machines. I've got a small, well, I call it small, it's just a regular Bridgeport, which is like 1,800 pounds, and then next to it I have a 5,000 pound CNC knee mill. And I've got a Hardinge CHNC CNC lathe that I rebuilt. I have a bandsaw, a welder, MIG welder, TIG welder, stick welder, scroll saw that I've rebuilt, blast cabinet, a lot of different things. So I have that capability. I have some woodworking tools. I like to do that as well. Now, when I was talking to Chuck and thinking about my channel and things like that, I got to thinking that oftentimes I have little anecdotes or stories or things that have happened in my life that are both challenges and rewards in both my career and my life. So I'm thinking of possibly starting another channel that's just me talking about things that have happened in my life, ways that I handled issues on the job and in life that might help other people. And I'm thinking of calling it just Vince's Musings or something like that. If I get enough people interested in that, maybe I'll post some stuff. But down to today's topic, I watch all these other YouTube creators, people like Chuck and Mr. Pete and A-Bomb and Ox Tool, Tom over there, and I find it really interesting the different tools that they find, the older tools. I'm into older tools. I'm into rebuilding tools, rebuilding machines, all the machines I have were derelict throwaways, which I rescued. Anyway, the other day I found something that was really interesting, and it's this this tool here. And it should be pretty obvious once you see it, and it's a tap wrench handle, and it has various different sizes in it. So let me zoom in the camera and I'll show you a little bit that I learned about it and some stuff that I found interesting. Now the tap wrench handle on it, I doubt you can see it on camera, it says Stark Products Corporation, patents pending. And I managed to find the patent for it from John Stark. And what's interesting is what the final patent is not quite the same as the this particular tap handle. What you have here, the main thing is this thing here. Two things. This seat, it's a ball set screw thing that locks the handle in place, and the handle itself slides back and forth through the ball. That's not the case in this. It's a one-piece handle that's threaded in the middle. Those two pins are these pins here that keep it from rotating. Pull this apart real quick. There we go. So this handle was just turned all the way down, threaded on the middle, and it's not quite like this. So the other thing, like I said, this is not there. But what I did is I found when I got this, there's a pin in here, and the pin, little tiny thing, was not threaded. This is just a through hole. So I don't know what purpose it had, because this could turn. This has to turn. This helps with the getting the size right. Maybe it wasn't meant to turn. Maybe they staked it, but let me back up here again. If it was meant to just drive a pin in and jam this from turning, the threads in here show no evidence of that happening. And I would think if that pin was meant to jam this and stop it from turning, they would have put a little recess in there that the pin could line up with. This was missing one of these pins. This is the original one. It's just barely under a 1/4 inch in diameter. It's a hollow pin and there's a spring in it. And I didn't know it was missing that until I went and looked up the patent. That's when I figured it out. So let me run this back up to where it should be. One pin goes in there. So I made this second pin out of, oops, there we go. I made this second pin out of a piece of 1/4 inch tubing. This is stainless steel tubing, used a lot in semiconductor fab, the gas cabinets and stuff like that. So that's where that piece came from. It was used for nitrogen, no nasty gases. There's also, you saw there's a spring inside there, and that spring was missing, obviously, since there's no pin. So I made another spring, and I'd like to show you how I did that. So what I did is I measured the inside diameter of the existing spring. And I came up with somewhere around 0.1 inches. Then I got some spring steel wire. Oh, I measured the diameter of the spring wire, and I got .032 inches. I went on eBay and found some .032 wire. And I took it in the chuck like this. Alright, so there's my spring. So that's how I made that spring in there. You gotta be real careful. This stuff's really sharp when you cut it off. So after I cut it off, I sand it down. One spring. Anyway, so that's that tool. I thought I'd share it. I see they come up on, I look back in the history, they come up on eBay maybe once a year or so. And like I said, I found this one for, I think it was $30 and $12 shipping or something like that. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting tool. It's made for larger taps. The biggest tap I have here is probably, what's this, 1/4 inch NPT, 1/2 inch NPT. And that just fits in there. So, nice addition to the shop. I do tap with this size sometimes when I'm doing plumbing stuff. So that should be handy.